Hi, everybody. Okay, let's get them on and that I can see everybody's comments. It has, I'm so sorry it's so late. Can't be helped. We are just getting calls one after the other um, because things are happening behind the scenes. There is so many ongoing investigations right now, and we are putting out that information as we're allowed to do. Um, we don't want to interfere in the investigations. And so we just want to notify the public as much as we can because we believe that transparency is everything, right? It's everything. And but the system is very broken. And so you know, we don't want to interfere. They, oh gosh, it's um, it's something else. How they will go after little things. It just makes so much sense when those that have committed huge crimes like Leilani Hart, Leilani Hart, who has admitted it, who has signed an affidavit confessing to the worst type of crimes against children, facilitating the worst types of crimes against children, immigration fraud, um, and failing to report the worst type of crimes against children for decades, for decades. And why haven't they arrested her yet? She absolutely needs to be arrested. So, this is why there's so many investigations because we have had to file and file and file and file. I mean, it takes thousands of letters, y'all. It takes a huge amount of focus and a lot of investigation, a lot of identifying crimes, documenting crimes, double checking, and filing with the correct agencies. And it takes thousands of letters because the system is so broken, um, and you know, compromised officials, compromised authority has to be driven to do the right thing because they are so compromised that they've forgotten what they're supposed to do. And so we have to drive them to do the right thing. And we're doing it with letters behind the scenes. And then, of course, through this Facebook site where we're reaching millions. We're really reaching millions. The numbers are crazy, and we're being shadow banned. And so we really need, when people say, "What can I do?" I say, share. Absolutely share the stories. Share. It is it is um, the transparency of all of this that drives them to do the right thing. So, just share all the information that we're giving, that we're putting out there, especially the crimes, right? I mean, and the Mayellas are uh, that's ongoing. This investigation, because of the connection with those that were working in the um, U.S. Attorney's Office of the Western District of Texas. Uh, so there's ongoing investigations to that, of course, all over El Paso, including the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, where we were right all along that it is a constitutional crisis and that El Pasoans have been disenfranchised when it comes to voting for their judges in a court that has full jurisdiction, which the Texas Constitution says is an absolute must. that the people need to vote for who they want as judges. So, that is a huge development that is being investigated. So let's start. Today is 1,937 days, I believe, since Richard was forcibly. Can you imagine that many days? We've been doing this. Um, Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room and taken to the arms room where it was a big battle, a big battle there. He lost his life. They took his life there, and they stole his body. They dismembered him, and they disposed of him across the border, international. They took him to a foreign country to dispose of his body. That's what they did. And this is a U.S. Army soldier, and this is um, those that have the connections uh, in the ability to move bodies across the border. You have to have someone that can move bodies across the border. You have to have the fraud of the funeral home. You have to have the fraud of the county clerk. You have to have the fraud of the medical examiner's office. You have to have the fraud in the DA's office. You have to have the fraud, um, it, you know, really over there in the disposal in Mexico. You have to have a place to bring the body. And then, of course, there's a lot of fraud to cover up the body disposal by like Carlos Manuel Salas and Governor Maru Campos, who, let it all happen and gave protection. And then she's lying now and saying, oh no, I haven't lost control. All this crime, it doesn't mean anything, nothing to see here. It's mostly peaceful, right? It's mostly peaceful. All the lies that they tell, it's absolutely disgusting and very obvious now what they're doing. And because of all the phone calls we're getting and all um, the evidence that we have gathered over 5 years, there's a couple names that stick out, and one of those names is Chris Martin. So Chris Martin has the fireman connection, of course, with first responders. He had access to the shovels, to the body pokers, the caliche pokers, searching for bodies. Um, he, the um, fire department that he works for is over Anthony. Anthony is very interesting, Anthony, Texas, because that is where Richard's Social Security number was used after his identification was used after his death. And so somebody, is activating fraud with it, right? Um, and of course, we know that Sylvia Burndeforth is the city attorney, and Chris Grant is over the Concordia Cemetery, the historical society, right? The historic Concordia Cemetery, and of course to the radios, to KTSM radio, also iHeart Media. So this is really important, all these connections, because of the overlap with Purchase Funeral Homes, with Martin Funeral Homes. Of course, um, Chris is part of that community that has been a common denominator in Richard's case also. And and he was digging in the desert for Richard's head. He was absolutely digging for Richard's head. And, y- you know, somebody like him with his um, job and details and everything just doesn't go out. They just don't go out to the desert and start digging for Richard's head, for a U.S. Army soldier's head, right? It doesn't make any sense. So let me see if I can read some of my notes, um, because I think it's really important. Uh, Chris Martin has a long-standing affiliation with Martin Funeral Homes, which is a family-owned business since 1935, multiple El Paso locations, and they're part of the Dignity Memorial Network. They also conduct cremations. So he knows all about it. He knows all about it. His position at Concordia Cemetery, he's special events coordinator. So it's very important for him to get the news out there, right? So that's where the media comes from, the different media, him going on to different media. It's interesting he hasn't been on. I mean, he's hard to find now. Maybe I'm not looking in the right place. Um, it seems like he's turned into a ghost too. He um, does the ghost tours, right? He does the ghost tours, and now it looks like he's turned into a ghost. Um, you know, uh, he organizes festivals, and he gives the ghost tours and historical preservation uh, presentations, and he oversees events to highlight this cemetery because it has the Buffalo Soldiers in it, John Wesley Hardin in it, a Chinese section that's the only one in Texas, and the Forgotten Veterans. So, he knows all about that, and because of his position, he does a lot. He absolutely has access and knows about repatriation of remains, and the transportation of remains. He knows that. His West Valley Fire Department, I think it's number two. But yeah, he serves Anthony Vinton and Canutia. So that gives him access to files, right? Files and cases and, um, emergency services and all of that, even mass shootings. So his roles collectively give him access to emergency response protocols, large public gatherings, veteran and historical remains, repatriation and moving of remains, also to the cross-border funeral home network, and also this is all on the cartel corridor. So I think that it's it's really big because people have to know that Richard's case is now it is an active case that is a material support to the terrorism investigations that are going on right now at the border. So it's really important that people understand that Richard was a federal witness, um, and now his case is a material support for that terrorism investigations. So, what Chris Martin did with the going out and digging for Richard's head, it's just, um, that is not normal. And his connection with all the funeral business, with the cemetery, is absolutely overlapping with Purchase Funeral Homes, especially with Dignity Memorial. Um, his work absolutely uh, intersects with Purchase Funeral Home, with the veterans and everything else. And that means that he has knowledge or connections with Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks, because Bill Hicks was the attorney for Purchase Funeral Homes. So, them being in proximity and him um, going out and actively engaging with Richard's case by trying to get the remains of our son is a big deal. It really is a big deal, and so that's why we posted that up just this evening. So I know it is really late. But I have to take out some time to talk about, uh, Montoya's and really scrutiny because of everything with this Mario Ortiz Ceroldi case. Because the 34th Judicial District Attorney, the prosecuting office, called the victim a prostitute. Called the victim a prostitute because you can't be soliciting prostitution without a prostitute. So they called the victim of trafficking a prostitute. And this is something that we reported, maybe others reported along with us. And that's why there's scrutiny now on that. Also, we're getting out of Anthony, no, Vinton, that the election for Mayor Quintana's spot has been really tampered with. They really tried to control that election, and I think it's we're watching it very, very closely to make sure that they don't cheat, really, that they don't cheat for the mayor of Vinton. It's a big deal because our whistleblower in Richard's case, Judge Roger Rodriguez, um, has a very close association with Vinton, Texas, the village of Vinton, Texas. So, that is something that we're looking at. And the other is that all of this trafficking, we wanted to mention, we're following it back, and it seems to go back until this whole Fast and Furious case. So, just to let you know, if you know a lot about the Fast and Furious case, please contact us and let us know about it. Write a message to because our son's case now, with everything going on, it seems to all the trafficking, all of the corruption at the border seems to be going back even to the time of Fast and Furious, where they, uh, were running guns, and then it ended up killing some of our people over in Mexico. So that is really a huge news. We're monitoring everything going on in Mexico still, um, and we will absolutely inform everybody of new developments because there's new developments all the time. So please inform us if you come across some new developments also, because this is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. We have to drive them together. We have to band together so that we can drive them, those that are up to no good, right, to do the right thing. And so that's really, uh, we just want to say thank you for everybody that has been helping to do that. And please continue. Please continue. Don't give up yet, because we're just about there. We're at the repatriation of Richard's remains, and so we're getting there. So thank you so much, everybody, and please share, and we will be back.